There we go.
Yeah. Let's see.
We are live for the millions watching around the world. So, how you been, man? I mean, I know this is, every stream is just kind of like it's really just us two hanging out while everybody else gets to just listen to us.
Yeah, yeah. It's been all right, man. I've been working a lot,
I
doing
heard the
my
boss
thing.
man got COVID or something. It was his wife was
Yeah,
talking
yeah,
to my wife because
yeah,
we're always linked. We're always interlocked. The two of
yeah.
us.
We are. Yeah, we are. And I recently learned that actually. We're just having a conversation about that. He and I. And yeah, he had the vid, and so did she. And but luckily they're doing all right. They're doing all right. They came around. So it's been a little bit of a challenge, but we've been getting back on track. Now we are working on new projects and doing some new things. So hopefully everything just keeps on rolling through. And yeah, man, How you been doing?
Good.
How you feeling?
So yeah, I was
Last
gonna
week
say.
or 2 weeks ago? Yeah.
So last week, I had the before it was. Well, let's go back to the beginning. February, wisdom teeth get pulled out. Couple months later, left side is gets infected. Come to find out, there's still a tooth left in there. Come to find out now on the right side, I had something trying to basically grow out of my face. Um, when they take your wisdom tooth out, they basically separate the bone and pull the tooth out. Well, when they separated the bone on my jaw, they cracked it on the inside. So what's growing back into my face, like into my jaw, basically towards my tongue, well, it had pushed through the gums. And he's like, oh, he's like, well, how long's it been hurting? I'm like, well, it's been hurting like a month, like, but now it's like, you can see it, like it's starting to push through. And he goes, well, give it another 4 weeks. If it doesn't fix itself, you have
Oh
to come
my.
in and we'll basically have to open it up and shave down the bone. So, yeah, it's actually gotten better. Like 2 days after I left there, it started actually feeling better. So I'm good now. I don't have any pain. It feels kind of weird, like you just kind of feel like something isn't right, but there's no pain. And he's like, if it's not hurting, then it's fine. So there's
Not
that,
bad.
you know.
Yeah. Okay. But you're feeling good. You're feeling better. You sound good. So,
Yeah, I
I
feel
mean,
good.
that's good.
Work's been busy. We got stuff coming up. Let's see. August is going to be busy for me. I'm going to be in Daytona for a long weekend, and the following week after that, the 21st, I'm going to be in Tampa for the Bucks Titans game, and then we got our fantasy football draft on the 28th. Um, and in between that, we've got. I mean, I'm probably going to end up doing at least 2 or 3 more fantasy drafts with other people trying to get me into leagues. So we'll see.
Okay. All right. Hey, and you know what? I will apologize to everybody ahead of time. Today is going to be a little bit different because we are watching the NBA draft. The Orlando Magic are currently on the clock and should be making a selection here very, very soon. But which puts me in a little bit of a different spot because unlike you, that has the great massive setup. I don't quite have that. So in order for me to have my TV in front of me, I have to kind of move myself away into my living room. So I have set up shop here, and so it's a little bit different look. And I apologize if it's too dark or too bright, or if it's flashing in front of me. It's just the TV is sitting in front of me. I am trying to keep up with everything that's happening there.
It's
But
anarchy right
yeah,
now.
and I'm on the Wi-Fi today, Timmy. I'm on the Wi-Fi, so
It.
hopefully
You sound
it
good.
holds up. Hopefully it holds up. So
Here we go. Live. I was trying to
I
find our
have to
channel
kind of
here to
move
make sure
myself.
we were here.
Yeah,
There we
yeah.
go. All right, I can always see. I always have to kind of wait and like, okay, we've been talking for a few minutes. Let's actually make sure that we're actually live. But yeah, we're good. So did the Magic pick yet?
Looks like they're coming back from commercial break here now, so I
Okay, this
expect
is
them
big. This is
to.
big.
Yep, the pick is in. The commissioner will be walking towards the. There he is. He's at the podium. The fifth pick in the 2021 NBA draft. The Orlando Magic select. Uh oh, what is this? Jalen Suggs from Gonzaga.
Really? Wow. He was supposed to actually go. I thought they said he was going to go like third overall.
Wow.
Yeah, they had him
Hey
projected
man.
to go third overall. Jalen Suggs from Gonzaga, baby.
All
My
right, the
Bulldogs.
Zags. You are
Oh.
Timmy. Everybody, Timmy is a big Zags fan. Big Zags fan.
Let's go. That's a solid pick. I like that. Well, we got to see
Okay.
them in the NCAA finals and everything, so um, we kind of got a good look as to what we're expecting there.
Yeah, yeah.
And I didn't
You know what's
think,
interesting, Timmy, real quick, is that he is a guard, right?
yeah,
So,
yeah.
they do have two guards over there. I mean, he's more, I think, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. Does this mean that they're going to make a move and maybe move one of their guards? I don't think they're going to move on from Cole Anthony, but does this mean that Markel Fultz potentially is on the block? I did see a couple of days ago there was a post on social media that Markel Fultz deleted almost everything, if not everything, that had to do with the Orlando Magic from his social media.
Wow.
So is that a sign of things to come that he is potentially on the move? I hate to see that because I am a Markel Fultz fan, but excited about this young man,
I
especially
mean,
if he
six
was
four,
supposed to
two
go
oh
Kareem.
five, coming out of St. Paul, Minnesota. There's been how many great athletes have come out of St. Paul, Minnesota? There's got to be at least a couple dozen. I mean, that's just a breeding ground of athletes. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just me.
But let me tell you, I mean, if he is, in fact, like you said, was supposed to go as high as number three and has fallen to fifth overall, then, wow.
I mean, and to go this high in the draft, and I mean, you got to think 2020. This guy drafted from Minnehaha Academy High School in 2020, and this guy's now getting drafted fifth overall to the Orlando
Yeah.
Magic. Come. I mean,
Yeah.
to go from Minnesota, then you go to Gonzaga, which is over in where is Gonzaga? It's in not
It's in,
Oregon,
no, it's in Washington.
Washington. There we go.
It
It's in
is in,
Washington. So now he's in
yeah.
Orlando. I mean, this
Yeah.
guy's all over the place, but at least he's coming back
Yeah.
to the East Coast. We got Mickey Mouse, we got everything, we got Universal Studios, we got Aquatica. This guy's gonna love it here. He's gonna love it here. You
And
know,
that this young man was Mr. Football 2019.
I mean,
Uh, you know, I'm seeing the package on him now, and they're showing all his highlights from his football days playing over at the stadium where the Minnesota Vikings were at. So I mean, he's played some big football games, and now here he is going to be playing in the NBA with the Orlando Magic. So the Magic pick fifth, and now we wait for a couple more picks, and they're back at it again at number eight.
how do you think? I mean, Jalen's got to be. He's sitting there. I mean, his parents, Molly Manley and Larry Suggs, just sitting there and ready to hug the. I mean, this is a family thing. Anytime there's a draft, something like this is the pinnacle of a career for a lot of pro athletes. Like this is their moment. The day that you get drafted, you've made it. You know what I mean? Like you've
Yeah,
spent your entire life trying to get to this level. Now you're at the level, and now it's like now you just got to keep it. I mean,
yeah.
very few of them are going to turn into these iconic Hall of Famers, but man, this is a
Wow.
big
I
pickup for
tell you what,
Orlando.
Timmy, though, this is a they say that um this is the most loaded class, if I'm not saying this halfway correctly, since 2003, which
Really?
by the way was the LeBron James draft class that had Wade and all those guys, and they say this is one of the deepest class NBA classes that's been around in a long, long time. They showed a graphic a couple of days ago where they were talking about the top five and the percentage chance of them becoming superstars.
Yeah.
The top three guys on that graphic, which I don't remember offhand, the order, but the top three guys in that graphic were had over close to a 50% chance of becoming superstars or all stars in the NBA, and the other two were, I mean, just right behind them. Or I think what it was is the top three had a higher chance to become all stars than this year's or last year's number one pick to the Minnesota Timberwolves. So
That was
I
who was it?
mean,
Who went last
it
year?
was
Anthony Edwards, right?
Anthony, yeah,
Anthony
Anthony
Edwards.
Edwards,
Yep.
and he had himself a pretty darn good rookie season.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, and it's showing some tremendous promise. And the top three guys on that graphic were shown to be had a higher potential or percentage to be stars even more than what he did
Wow.
coming out last year. So we'll see, man. We'll see. I mean, this is the exciting time, right?
Yeah,
Right now, no NBA, no team is everybody's 0-0. An opportunity right now to for everybody to be excited, for everybody to
yeah.
be excited about what they're seeing, about their teams, and about what's going to happen, and about the future, right? So, I mean, hey, now he's here. Now he has to show what he's worth on the court.
Well, and if you guys, anybody that is listening and watching, obviously Russell Westbrook got traded to the Lakers.
Yep.
Blockbuster trade that ended up moving Caldwell Pope, Kyle Kuzma, uh, Harrell, and the number 21 pick in this year's first round draft to the Washington Wizards for Russell Westbrook, the triple double machine. As of right now, he's going to be partnered up with LeBron James. As of now.
Right.
Granted, I think it's
Right.
it's going to be them two versus everyone else in the league because I don't think they
Well,
just
remember,
got rid of all their starters.
yeah, but Anthony Davis is there, and if he can stay healthy, now you have
He's
Anthony
leaving.
Davis
He's
and
leaving.
LeBron James.
He's
Oh
going to the
no, no, he's
Bulls.
not.
He's going to the Bulls.
Anthony
I'm
Anthony
calling it.
Davis.
I'm calling it right now. He's going to the Bulls
Why the Bulls?
because
What's
he
with the
he wants
Bulls?
to go to the Bulls. He already posted that he wants to go to Chicago. LeBron James already said, "I wish you the best." He tweeted it to him or Instagrammed it to him. Anthony Davis is going to be gone. I'm telling you right now, he's leaving.
Wow,
Write it down.
wow.
Write it down.
Can it be breaking news to from our boy Timmy?
Well, and the big thing is what does this mean for Bradley Beal now? Because Bradley Beal, I mean, the guy's a baller. So it's going to be interesting to
Yeah,
see. You know, Washington, they picked up some talent. Caldwell Pope's good. Kyle Kuzma's good. Montrezl Harrell is good, and we'll see who they're going to get for number 21. But what up, Merc? I mean, I'm here. I'm here. Don't no one want Russell Westbrook?
well,
Murky, by the
the
way,
Lakers did.
Murky's a big basketball guy. So
Okay,
anytime we got any
okay.
basketball questions, man, we need to go to Murky. But yeah, he's shed some light. We have some good talks, but yeah, it's a sexy pick, a sexy trade. Let's talk. You know what I mean? Like regardless of whether or not you
Yeah,
like Russell Westbrook or not, his numbers don't lie. Murky obviously hates Russell Westbrook, but this is a sexy play for the Lakers. They're bringing, this is LA. This is what they want. They want to bring the big
yeah.
name. They want to bring the triple double machine into LA. Um, and I don't know how. I mean, this guy could have 40 assists a game now with the
Yeah,
with the with the teams they got over there. And
yeah.
Murky just
It's
said they're
good.
trying to get DeRozan as well over there.
Yeah, I did hear that. I think last week that they were trying to make a move for him. It's going to be interesting to see how it all comes together, right? I mean, like you said, you do give up quite a bit to bring in a guy like that. So, are they going to be able to surround these guys with some decent, supporting cast?
Well, it doesn't matter because with this pick that Orlando just made, I'm with Cameron Magruder. Give you the old Scooter Magruder saying the Orlando Magic are gonna win the NBA championship.
We'll see.
We'll
We'll
see.
see. I am still shocked. I just actually got a text from one of my brothers that said, "Unbelievable! Finally," he said something to the effect of, "Finally, the basketball gods have thrown the
Yeah,
Orlando Magic a bone."
yeah.
And for sure, I mean, now is like I said, now he just has to show it. He
Well, and
just
we
has
could
to
still
show it.
see some fireworks here because the Magic still have the pick at number 8. They could definitely trade this pick away, maybe
Right.
bundle up a couple players like you said, Markel Fultz. This could still be happening tonight. We could see some big
Yeah.
time stuff happen tonight still.
Yeah, and
Um,
they do have some. I mean, they do have some assets. Not a whole lot, but right. But if you get, like you said, a Markel Fultz, the eighth pick, and a guy like maybe Terrence Ross,
yeah,
and you package that up and you try to send that somewhere, to potentially get something of decent
I
value
like
back.
Terrence Ross though.
I do too. I really
Yeah,
don't want to see him go.
yeah.
But he is an asset and somebody
I
who
think
can
we take
potentially
all of
bring
those.
somebody back.
We take Markel Fultz. We take the 8 pick. We take Mo Bamba. We
Mm.
send him to Boston and bring in Taco Fall. Boom.
How about just Taco Fall from Obama straight up?
Make
I'll
me
do
the
that.
GM. Taco Fall, baby. By the way, I was watching. I watched some of the card breaks. I don't know if you ever watched those. The guys that open sports cards and stuff, which is a huge thing right now. But
Hmm.
a guy freaked out. He opened up a one of one book, and it opens up, and it's a Taco Fall on card auto. And I was like, that is badass right there. It had the little NBA logo. But speaking of sports cards, I did want to mention. Remember the Tom Brady card that sold that set the record for like the highest selling sports card or something. This was like a month or two
Yes.
ago. We talked about Patrick
Right.
Mahomes broke the record.
Did
So
he?
2017 on card rookie auto with the NFL Shield logo. This is like an NFL Shield patch off his jersey.
Mhm.
Rookie card on card auto 1 of 1, $4.3 million for a
Let me
football
ask you. So
card.
is this a card that somebody like found in a pack? Like they opened up a pack and it's there,
So
or
you
how
don't
do you go
really
about finding cards like this?
so there's certain so basically the way sports cards are now they're not like the way you and I remember them, like the wax packs where you open them up and they have the bubble gum in them and stuff like that. They
Yeah.
do they do have those, and from time to time you'll find a decent card in there. You might find a decent autograph, something like a Justin Herbert, which is big right now. Tua, everybody wants those, but you're not going to find the really rare ones. The really rare ones now you're paying probably between $250 and $500 for these boxes that come with like maybe 4 or 5 cards in them, but they're guaranteed like big time stuff. And that's where they're
How
pulling
about
some of these
that?
cards. Yeah, so if you get a chance, yeah, check out the card breaker videos. You can see them on YouTube. They're on TikTok. I actually watch one guy live during the day when I'm working. I keep him up and just watch him go through. Basically, what he does is he does a live stream and he has all these boxes and he sells them while he's live streaming. So and then he opens them live on stream for these people and packages them up and sends them to them. So he might open a $40,000 card and freak out, and it's not even his. He's got to mail it to
Yeah.
some guy that just paid him $600, for a box or whatever.
Wow.
But yeah, so
Wow. So
Patty
people
Mahomes.
so people pay him to to open up boxes.
hmm So what he does is he has like his whole website set up, and it'll be like, okay, we're gonna open up. We have these 8 boxes right here. We'll have 8 boxes,
Hmm.
all different. Um, one time he had 2 big ones that had autographed helmets in them, and they're unopened, so you don't know what they are. They're like, he might pay $300 for this box that's got an autographed helmet in it. So he pays retail for them or whatever. I'm sure he buys them in bulk, gets a good deal, and he marks them up a little bit to make some money. But he'll say, okay, we got these 8 boxes. Everybody, and let's say it's $2,000 worth of stuff. So he'll break it down. Okay, 8 divided by however much. Okay, this is how much each person needs to pay. Everyone, these 8 people, first 8 people to get in to pay, you randomly get drawn a number, and that's what box you get. And so it'll be like, okay, I got box number 2. Well, box number 2 is boom, this. It's a helmet. It's an autographed helmet of so and so. That's what you win. And so it's a really cool
So
way that he does it.
should we try to get in on something like this?
If we had the liquid assets to get our hands on sports cards the way these guys do, and I don't know how the connections are. Um,
Well, I'm talking about with this guy. Should we try to get in on his list or something and try
oh,
to get
start.
in on
Yeah, I mean,
on
you can do it. Like I said, he does them live on stream. He's got his website up there. You just go on there, and as you're watching live, you log into the website and go in there, and I guess you
hmm,
PayPal it or whatever you do. You put your money in. Um, it's interesting, like I said, and sometimes he does really cool stuff. Where he'll do like a football opening, and he'll do like NFC East, NFC West. He'll do basically every division, and each person will get assigned a division. So anytime he opens a card with that, and there's a card for that division, you get that card. So you got to be careful in the divisions you want because you might get some garbage division that
yeah.
doesn't have a lot of good players in it. You might get something like NFC East where you're going to get your Eagles players, your Cowboys players, stuff like that. But a lot of the big names, obviously, you're looking for quarterbacks, so you want
Yeah.
to get your Pat Mahomes and your Tom Brady's and all that.
All right. So it looks like the seventh pick has been made by the Warriors, and they went with Jonathan Kuminga, who was a
Okay.
guy that some folks thought that might fall to Orlando at 8. He's a forward. Um, so I mean, it looks like he's wearing the right colors almost for the Golden State Warriors.
Who was that got picked? Josh,
Uh,
number 6 or number 7?
uh, that's number 7, Kaminga.
Okay.
Number 6
Number
was
6 was Josh Giddey, right? For the guy from Australia.
right, right,
Okay. Okay.
right.
That was OKC's pick. Okay.
Yep.
So let's see. What else do we got? Oh, Aaron Rodgers coming back to Green Bay.
Aaron Rodgers. Yep, yep.
Decided
After
to
all
have a
that
sit
noise.
down, and he's getting Randall Cobb back from
Hmm.
Houston.
Yep.
What else? I guess he's going to have some control over now where he's going to get traded to. Like he's officially gone. Like this is most likely his last season in Green Bay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, Devontae
And
Adams
he's
didn't want to
he's
sign his
he's letting
extension
loose
either.
too.
Yeah.
He's letting loose. He's telling it all. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, he's not holding back. I mean,
I'm, I mean,
he's
the
putting stuff
interview,
out there.
the interview he did straight up was like, for years I was, putting an input on these guys and working out with these guys and telling them who I wanted, and they weren't listening. And it's
Yeah.
like, okay, well,
Yeah.
but when you're the reigning MVP, I mean,
Well, and the GM had some comments today where he came out and he says, you know, we made the Randall Cobb trade for Aaron Rodgers. He's like, otherwise we wouldn't have made a deal for
yeah.
him.
Now
And
Randall Cobb, I mean,
I'm
he's
like, wow.
31. Like he's not a spring chicken. I mean, and obviously he's probably going to move back into the slot. Um, they're still going to have Devontae. I mean, now it's up to Aaron Rodgers to keep his draft stock up. Well, I would say draft stock, but you know what I mean. He's
Yeah,
got to play to the level that's going to make him worth being traded. And now teams have basically a year to figure out how they're going to do it. So
yeah.
I wouldn't
Can
be
it be
surprised to see some trades for picks and stuff like that being made this year to
to
stock up.
try to set themselves up?
Hmm.
Maybe. I mean, if you're a team, but if what team out there is necessarily going to be the one that's going to go out there for an Aaron Rodgers, right?
Houston,
Yeah.
if they lose
I
Deshaun Watson,
mean,
or riddle me this: what if this is Tom Brady's last year and Tampa ends up going from Tom Brady to Aaron Rodgers? How sick would
how
that be?
about how about that? That would be. But Tom Brady has already come out and said that he's going to play at least a minimum of 2 more years.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
You never know.
barring some
One injury.
crazy injury or something like that. But he says he's going to be playing again, and why not? I mean, the guy still playing at a high level.
Yeah,
The pick is in for the Magic. Let's see who they're going to go with. It's going to be the eighth pick.
probably a small forward.
Um,
I'm guessing.
this 5 minute clock, man. This is a good thing. This is the one thing about the NBA draft that I really enjoy. It goes by pretty quick,
Yeah,
you know. So
maybe there's
we
going to
do
be a
have
trade here.
an update here with the Team USA. Timmy is playing tonight against Qatar in the Gold Cup. Last I saw the update, it was 0-0 at halftime. Um,
In
so
basketball?
no, in football,
Oh,
soccer,
I was like, what?
Gold Cup, Papa, Gold Cup.
Sorry. I was like, Orlando's
And
playing guitar in a basketball team?
I said Team USA. But Orlando City Soccer News, the deal is final with the Will family of the NFL. They are now the proud owners of the Orlando City Soccer team and the Orlando Pride. And Franz Wagner is a forward from Michigan. It has been selected
Figured that was going to happen.
number 8 to the Orlando Magic.
Franz? Oh, Franz?
Bounce.
That guy's German, right?
Uh, Brother
Yeah, he went to
Moritz
Michigan.
Wagner plays for the Magic. Really?
Six foot nine, coming out of
Mm,
Berlin, 19 years old.
that's a big boy.
Guy was born in 2001. Think about that.
So
How old does
it
that make
says
you?
Moritz Wagner, Orlando center. I didn't even know Moritz Wagner was on our team.
Yeah, that's
But
his brother.
yeah, but they're going to be on the team together now.
Interesting.
So he gets traded later on tonight with Markel Fultz or
Yeah,
something.
6'9", 220 pounds, coming out of Michigan. Uh,
Okay.
guys, I mean, hey, I mean, I had a feeling they were going to go guard forward. They're pretty well set, in the big positions. Um, maybe they were looking for some depth. But you never know. Like I said, I mean, you made again. We make valid points all the time about these trades and stuff that could come through. But then again, this is the Orlando Magic, so
Hmm.
I wouldn't expect anything to come of this at all.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think Suggs will end up running the point and shooting guard. Probably they'll just be rotating those guys in and out. And same thing, at 6'9", I mean, there's no reason that this guy can't play power forward when he needs to, when we're running like a smaller team. So
Yeah.
yeah, so there you go.
And he's a young dude, so he's still going to fill into his body a little bit more and kind of see where that all ends up. But I mean, man, we'll see. So Orlando Magic fans, what are your thoughts? What are you thinking out there?
So I got my sideliner's opinion, by the way. I don't know if we want to do
Mm,
sideliner's opinion yet.
throw it out there. We're just kind of just going with the flow here tonight. So go
Sideliner's
ahead.
opinion, okay? Greg
Mm-hmm.
Maddux is the greatest pitcher in MLB history. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm gonna back it up. I'm not just gonna say it. I'm gonna back it up. I posted this on Twitter on
Yep.
Tuesday. All right, Greg Maddux. You ready? First appearance.
Yep.
First off, first appearance as a starter. Pitches a complete game. Okay. Only
Mm.
pitcher in history. 17 straight seasons of 15 or more wins. He won 4 straight Cy Young awards. In those 4 seasons, he went 75 and 29 with a 1.98 ERA. Pitched 37 complete games. Uh, 11 of those 37 games were shutouts. 18 Gold Gloves, which is the most Gold Glove awards by any baseball player in history. Okay, he's second all time with 355 wins. Among pitchers that were born, in the 20th century, obviously, he's the only pitcher with 300 plus wins, 3,000 plus strikeouts, and fewer than 1,000 walks. But here's the big one, okay? Here's the stat that probably won't ever be beat. He faced 20,421 batters, okay, in his career. Only 310 of those 20,421 ever saw a 3-0 count. 310.
Say it again.
So he faced 20,421 batters in his career. Oh,
20,000.
okay,
Okay.
over 20,000. Only 310 of them ever saw a 3-0 count.
Wow.
Okay, and 177 of those were intentional walks.
Mm.
So there you go, Greg Maddux. I mean, this
Wow.
guy, yeah, and he was a Brave, obviously. He won. He was originally, I think he was with was it the Cubs? I think he got drafted to,
I believe so. The
and
Cubs.
won a Cy Young, and then he got traded to the Braves. Ended up winning 3 more consecutive Cy Youngs. So he ended up winning 4 consecutive Cy Youngs. But
Mm.
yeah, so that. I mean, most Gold Glove. The one thing I didn't know he had the most Gold Gloves in baseball history
Yeah.
by any player. So,
Yeah.
sideliner's opinion: Greg Maddux, greatest pitcher of all time,
I like it.
and
I
that's a
like it.
valid argument.
I was always I was always a fan of of the Braves. Even growing up, I did enjoy the Braves with the Maddox days
Tom Glavine, John
with
Smoltz.
Tom Glavine, Smoltz. They had definitely a guy that you look at, right? And when you look at a guy like Maddox, definitely not you don't look at a guy like that and inspires to and you say that guy's a baseball player,
Right,
right? I
right.
mean, he looked like your math teacher or something
Yeah,
out there.
yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like,
But
what the hell is he
he
doing
was
out
all
there?
control, man. He was
Oh yeah,
control. He commanded the
yep,
game. He wasn't throwing 95-mile-an-hour fastballs. He
yep,
wasn't throwing these crazy breaking balls. But
yep.
yeah, man.
Which
Only
which adds to your sideliner's opinion of him being the greatest because right, he wasn't overpowering anybody.
yeah.
He wasn't going out there and had this, deceitful kind of, wind up or anything like that where people are trying. I mean, he just went out there and it was just ball placement. You know what I mean?
That
I
was
know
it.
where I want to go with it. I put the baseball exactly where I want. And yeah, I
Mm.
mean, a very, very, very successful career.
Greg Maddux.
Timmy, I like Greg Maddux. All right, all
That's a
right.
solid.
So
We gotta get him on the show.
hey, future friend of the shows.
Greg Maddux.
Yeah, our future friend of the show is back at it again. Juju Smith-Schuster is they're in camp, and I believe what is it next week? Timmy, that they have the Hall of Fame game.
I believe so.
Uh,
Man, it's oh my god, I can't believe it's already here. I'm so
happens fast,
excited.
but
Um, I
happens
I,
fast.
I was watching a video. Who was it? Chase Claypool posted a video on who did it best, and it was the Smeeze dance. I don't know if you've ever seen the Smeeze dance,
Mm,
but they had I wasn't surprised that Juju did it flawlessly, but Jalen Samuels, he's got some moves. I'll give it to him.
yeah,
He's got some moves. So those guys, man, I like watching the Steelers just because I watch a lot of their videos and TikTok stuff. Just you can tell they're just a chill,
yeah,
group of guys. They're a little younger and just go out there and have fun. So shout
yeah.
out to them.
I tell you what, social media, right? I think is allowing for teams that maybe at one point were like a hated team. Like Pittsburgh is one of
Yeah.
those. I feel like you it's like a love hate relationship with the Steelers, right?
Yeah.
And but with social media and some of these guys being as charismatic as they are, and kind of out there having fun, and kind of reaching a little bit more of the youth, I think they start turning that around a little bit. I think you start seeing teams uh, being followed a little bit more by people who just younger crowds and kind of bringing some stuff
Yeah.
together. So
Breaking news,
yeah,
by the way. Breaking news.
uh,
Max Scherzer and Trey Turner are going to the Dodgers.
it is gonna happen, huh? Yep, we talked about
It's
that
official.
briefly.
Barstool Sports just posted it 1 minute ago, so it is official.
Yep. All right. That is, I'm looking at Jeff Passan here. He's got it. Well, he's got a. Still was saying they were finalizing it, but
It's already done. It's done.
it is done deal. Done deal.
So we got Franz Wagner, the Magic. Who is it? Sacramento's on the clock. It looks like Davian Mitchell is there. He's on the top of their board at the number 9 pick. And who else? Who is it? Jalen Green to Houston.
Hmm.
Man, we
Man,
got.
I'm looking. Uh, I'm looking at social media, man. A lot of happy people with Suggs coming to Orlando. A
Yeah, and
lot of
and
happy
and
people.
and don't sleep on Franz Wagner, man. I mean, guys, he's gonna add a different element. Like I said, he's a big small forward at 6'9". Um,
Yeah.
so it's gonna be interesting to see how he fits in with the team. Just looking at some of the stuff they're posting on here. Pre-draft, like to skip the NBA Combine altogether. Came out as a sophomore. I mean, he's a legit top 10. So
Okay. All right. I mean, hey, if you're the Magic, you're coming away, from this draft with right now, potentially, a top three guy that falls to you at five,
yeah,
right?
yeah. I
And
had Suggs
like
at
you're saying
3.
here,
I had him at 3.
yeah, yeah, and it sounds like I'm seeing that a lot coming across the board.
Yep.
With a lot of guys saying, thinking that. Um, so I'm just, like I said, it's a little different today, right?
Yeah, we got
So,
we got a lot of reading we're doing while we're live right now.
yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah.
keeping an eyes on everything. What we could do while we're waiting on these other picks is we could do our fantasy football running back top 10.
Mm,
So basically, this is who we think in are going to finish in this specific order, not as the number one running back in the league, as the number one fantasy running back in the league. Now this is going to be PPR scoring. We're going to do everything else pretty standard. 10 points. 1 point for every 10 yards rushing, receiving. Point for every reception. 6 points for a touchdown.
well, I tell you what, Timmy, I defer to you on a lot of this stuff. Believe it or not, when it comes to the fantasy stuff, I have a very different way of going about things. By the
You
way,
do
Qatar had
mostly because you
a
suck at
penalty
beer
shot.
pong, and you always end up with like the ninth or 10th pick and get forced to take a wide receiver. So
Yeah, yeah. My hand definitely gets forced a lot of times, but I would just want to mention that Qatar did miss a penalty shot against Team USA, so the game is
is
still nil
did
nil in the
Nani did
second
Nani
half.
kick it? Because I heard he misses a lot of those.
No, this is Qatar shooting, and this is Team USA. So Nani is not playing
That was a shot at Nani. Just so
currently.
we're
I know,
clear.
I know. And Mr. Nani,
All right, so
um,
let's go. Let's talk fantasy running backs here. Okay, number one, I think this is
go ahead,
unanimous between the two of us. I think Christian McCaffrey is the number
Christian
one
McCaffrey.
fantasy running
Absolutely.
back. Guy averages over 100 receptions the last couple of years. When he's healthy, which that
Yep.
alone, when you can tack on an extra 100 points in fantasy of just receptions, and taking into account also the amount of yardage that you get from those checkdowns, where you're kind of guaranteed to get 4 or 5. Knowing him, shoot, he can take it to the house anytime. So nothing fancy on that. Christian McCaffrey, number one, definitely. Number two. Now, most people are gonna hate on me for this and say
I
what
will
you
say this
want.
to me real quick. McCaffrey, obviously with him the big deal with him is just staying, on the field. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
As good as he is, he seems to find himself with, these little nagging injuries that have kept him out from a game or two, or sometimes even longer during the last couple of seasons. But definitely number one, Christian McCaffrey.
yeah. And he's got. I mean, the biggest thing with him is he's really the only thing they have. He's the only weapon they have, which
Right.
is why, um, he's so valuable. I mean, they've got. I mean, well, granted, they've got DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson, who are two of the best, wide receiving duos in the league. But
And tell you what, this year with Barkley at the helm, Barkley is a guy that
are they gonna have Sam
he
Darnold?
can. I'm sorry, not Barkley. I
Yeah,
don't know
Sam
why
Darnold.
like I said
I
that.
got you.
It is Sam Darnold. But Sam Darnold is a guy that moves around a little bit in the pocket, right? He's a solid dude. I think that he didn't get a very good shake, obviously, with the Jets, but how many quarterbacks for the last couple of years have had that, right?
Right.
And I saw him as a Patriots fan, twice a year, and he too had some issues with staying on the field, but I tell you what, man, he's had some games, and you look at his tape, he has the potential to be
Yeah.
a good quarterback in the NFL. It's just a matter of staying healthy and and a little bit of luck going his way. And I think that this is an opportunity for him to have a little bit of that luck, hopefully coming his way. If he has a good running back, like you said, a solid duo at wide receivers. It's just a matter of him staying staying healthy.
So number two, and like I said, I think people you can hate on me if you want, say what you want. He was a lot farther down the line that most people had him going 7 or 8 overall. Ezekiel Elliott. Say what you want. I'm sorry, but this guy is a year removed from being top three. Dak Prescott gets hurt last year. Obviously, his numbers die down. There's no reason he shouldn't be the second best running back this year. Dak Prescott back. We've got CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper. We've got Michael Gallup. I mean, arguably, and I know you and I have talked this. Other than the Tennessee Titans, this is the most complete offense in the
Yes.
league of these two teams.
Yes.
So why you wouldn't put him in at least the top three? I've got him number two overall. I think he's gonna run for at least 1,400 yards, double-digit touchdowns. Probably looking at 40 or 50 receptions, and yeah, I've got Zeke at number two. So
Mm, okay.
that's my pick.
Okay. So you put him over Derrick Henry.
Yes, and I'm gonna
Mm,
explain why. I've actually
go
got
ahead.
I've actually got Derrick Henry taking a little dip. Dalvin Cook at number three. Um,
Mm,
I think again, Dalvin Cook is this is another year where he's going to basically pick up where he left off, and that's why I put him at three. Is I don't think he's going to change at all from what he did last year. Just being a dynamic running back, and obviously this is barring any injuries. This entire
right.
listing.
Right.
Number four, I've got Saquon Barkley coming back from the injury. If
Mm-hmm.
he's healthy, ready to go, which everything that I have heard, and I've got some insider info, which I will share with you. I actually got some info from his best friend, who is a female. She was down at Play Linda this past weekend,
Mm,
and yeah, and she was a volleyball player. They went to the same college, and my the legend, of course, being the man that he is, somehow ends up carrying on a conversation with her. Come to find out, she's best friends with Saquon Barkley. And of
mm.
course, so he starts doing some digging.
Yeah, poking
And
and
come to
prodding a
find
little
out,
bit.
guys, Saquon Barkley is 100% right now. He is ready to go, no setbacks. So you heard it here first. Saquon
Mm.
Barkley is going to be 100%. I've got him at number four overall, simply because, again, they don't have a lot of weapons there, and why would you not utilize this guy?
Timmy, I'm a
Go ahead.
little
Go ahead.
disappointed. I have to admit, I'm a little disappointed. Because if the legend had access to this kind of information and he had access to this type of people, if he did not mention, sideline sport talk, and that's very, very disappointing.
You know,
And I'm gonna have a talk
I mean, when you're out there on the beach
with
with a
the
girl that
legend,
played
you know.
volleyball in
Mm,
Virginia for Virginia, I mean, I
mm,
don't think that was on his mind. I think what was on
mm,
his mind was, trying to prep for and I get it. He's trying to prep for the fantasy league. He's
yeah.
he's 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 sharing the inside information. We're sharing it with the millions of our viewers. Um, but number five, Derrick Henry.
Hmm.
I've got Derrick Henry at
Okay.
five. Okay,
Mm,
simply because of the addition of Julio Jones. I think they're
okay.
going to definitely not need to run the ball as much. I think Julio Jones opens up the field a ton. So I don't think they're going to need to utilize him as much, which is going to bring his numbers down some. Um,
But let me ask you this, because Mr. Henry there is he's the type of guy he can break, as big as he can break out a run and go, 60, 70, 80 yards in
yes,
the blink of an eye, right?
any of
So
these guys can though.
to your to your point about Julio, because I do agree with that. Now opening the field up even more, right? Because now you have two dynamic wide receivers, huge guys out there that can make plays. Um, you can't crowd the box as much because obviously you got those two guys out there.
Right.
So maybe he doesn't have as many touches, but don't you think that maybe now he has even more opportunity with less guys in the box to break more of those big runs out?
Yeah, and I think he's going to get those. But if you look at my top
So
four,
numbers wise, I think that he fantasy wise
okay,
and on the number side, wouldn't you think that again maybe not as many touches, but still the yards and the touchdowns can potentially be there because maybe instead of running the ball 20 times a game, maybe now you're running it 15 times a game, but you're still gonna break out two or three of those 50 yarders
and
a
listen,
game.
this went through my head, but when you sit down and you look at the list of names,
Mm-hmm.
the difference between Derrick Henry and these other four guys is receptions,
Mm-hmm.
receiving yards.
Mm-hmm.
That's what really separates them. Is
Yeah.
Derrick Henry's
Yeah.
not a big reception guy. And
Yeah.
so I don't, 20, 30 receptions maybe, which will turn into something. But again, I think these other guys, Saquon Barkley, who could easily 70, 80 receptions. Zeke's had, 50 to 60 receptions. McCaffrey with over 100. Dalvin Cook, he's really the only other kind of question mark, and I think him it's just because they have to use him so much that he's going to
Right.
outdo Derrick Henry. But I've got Derrick Henry at 5, and I'm sticking to it. You can put him wherever you want on your list, but if I've
Mm.
got the 5 pick and he's there, I'm taking him. I don't think he's going to go there, which helps me out in fantasy because I think that if I have a top 5 pick based on the stats and the people that I know that are in our league, I'm going to get Zeke with the 5 pick because he's going to fall. So,
Mm-hmm.
then this is why, I'm always in the playoffs every year. This is why it happens, okay? Because I think you have to think what they're thinking and know what they know and know what you know.
Yeah.
Number 6, and this is another one where people are going to kind of question me. Nick Chubb, I've got him at 6. I think this is going to be his biggest year yet. I
Mm-hmm.
think Baker Mayfield has been there. He's at the point now where he's ready. There's no more excuses. Everything needs to go perfectly right in Cleveland, and Nick Chubb, if he can stay healthy, he's going to be the 6th best running back. I think he's an all-purpose back. You can use him whenever you want. He's got the speed. He's got the size. I got Nick Chubb at 6.
Mm.
Um,
Okay.
and the reason I dropped this guy at number 7 to number 7 is because of his quarterback situation. Alvin Kamara
Right.
at number 7.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Drew Brees is gone. Uh, I just don't see Alvin Kamara having the opportunity to do what he was able to do when Drew Brees was there. With Jameis Winston starting, I think, or whoever's starting there. Who's the other guy?
Taysom Hill.
Taysom Hill. Yeah, I mean either one of those guys. I think you're going to see a lot more blitzes.
Mm-hmm.
Just knowing the way Jameis Winston plays. So I think Alvin Kamara is going to drop, and Aaron Jones at number 8. Just
Mm-hmm.
because he's Aaron Jones. I mean, he's a solid guy. He's going to rush for 1,000 yards, going to get double-digit touchdowns. But again, with Randall Cobb coming back too now and playing in the slot, you could see him losing a little bit more. And with Aaron Rodgers playing with something to prove this year, he's going to be slinging the ball. Uh, Jonathan Taylor at 9. I didn't follow Jonathan Taylor too much last year. I know that he put up solid numbers. I think my dad actually had him on his fantasy team, and he was consistent. So he's there at 9, and then Austin Eckler at 10, just because I think with the Chargers offense and Justin Herbert being there again, he just opens up the field, allowing Austin Eckler to do a little more. Plus, he catches a lot of passes. But I don't think he gets utilized as an every down back, and that's the problem with Austin Eckler's numbers. Is I don't think he gets used enough. Most of these guys are 3 down backs, other than maybe Nick Chubb, but rest of these guys are
Right.
they're just all touching the ball every time, 20 to 30 touches a game. So
Yeah.
that is
I
my
tell
top
you,
10.
the guy that I think, and I do agree with the names that you have in there. Um, I think if I had to go through there again, I switch up a couple guys here and there, but overall. I agree. There is a guy though that I want to point out to you that I think is he hasn't played a down in the NFL yet, but I think is going to do well
Najee
and will
Harris.
surprise some people. It's going to be Najee Harris. You know what I mean? I think that's a guy. I think that's a guy with an aging Ben Roethlisberger over there.
Yeah,
Even though our man and friend of the show, future friend of the show, or let's just call him friend of the show. What the hell?
yeah.
Juju being over there. I still think this guy's going to have an impactful year.
I think he's going to be a top 15 back. I think. I mean, you still
Yeah,
got you still got Antonio Gibson. You still got Joe Mixon in the mix. Um, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, another guy from Kansas City, where you don't know what he's going to
yeah,
do. This is going to be J.K. Dobbins' big year to see what he's going to do. And you've always got that guy, Chris Carson. For some reason, Chris Carson is turning into like the Jonathan Stewart of the NFL. You know what I mean? He's
yeah,
always
yeah,
around, but he never does enough to
yeah.
where you're like, I want him. You're just
Yeah.
like, ah.
He's the guy that nobody really wants, but then you end up with, and you're like, well, he's doing great for me. I didn't really want him,
Yeah,
but
gets me 14, 15 points a week. I'll take it.
yeah,
And
yeah,
Josh Jacobs is another guy I left off the list,
yeah,
who's kind of right there on the cusp where any of those guys could end up kind of swapping places.
yeah,
Any one of them, including Miles Gaskin, another big sleeper.
yeah.
Those guys could easily be top 10 running backs, depending on
Yeah.
what happens with injuries and whatnot.
I tell you what, Timmy, it's going to be refreshing, right? Because for so many years, it's been kind of a top three or four, and then it's like a huge
Hmm.
decline after that. And now, you can everybody in our, like especially in our draft, should be grabbing a decent running back. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? In the draft. So it's gonna make for an interesting draft because there's also a pretty damn good crop of wide receivers out there. You
which
know
I
what I
think we're
mean?
going to
Across
cover
the
next week.
board.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, but you have a solid number of running backs and you have a bunch of really good wide receivers. All of a sudden, it makes for some
yeah,
excitement. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Because I think we did go through a little spurt where, man, once you got past those three or four running backs, it's like
That was it.
who the hell do I
Yep.
grab now? You know what
Drafting
I
a
mean?
tight end, there
It,
were six
yeah,
overall.
yeah.
Um,
I mean, it's just
But another thing we didn't mention, and this was another guy that I would have potentially had in my top 10, was Cam Akers, who tore his
mhm,
Achilles. He's out for the
yeah,
season. Daryl Henderson is going to be moving into the starting spot for the Rams, who's I think he's perfectly capable of being an every down back. He's never had the
mhm,
opportunity. He's just never been better than the guy ahead of him.
yeah,
So he's by no means bad. He's just always had really good running backs in front of him. And
yeah,
how many times have we seen that where you have this your star running back go down and this other guy comes up all of a sudden, you know he's he's the new guy. We've
right.
seen it happen in Dallas quite a few times. We've seen it happen in Philly a few times. We've seen it happen even in New England where you just kind of got these
Hmm.
no name guys coming out of nowhere. You're like, who the hell
Yeah,
is this guy?
yeah,
Who's this
yeah.
Julian Edelman
Damien
guy playing running back?
Damian Harris. Damian Harris is a guy that I think people may be a little surprised this year to see coming out of New England since you mentioned them. Um, Guy coming out of Alabama had some injuries here and there last season, but I think if he can stay healthy and they now another year in the system, I think this is a year where they start featuring him a little bit more. So don't be surprised to see Damian Harris make some splash here this coming season.
Yeah, and I mean, and the other thing we don't want to forget is we don't want to forget, Ronald Jones coming out of Tampa, another guy where he's not going to get you big numbers, but he's going to be,
Mm-hmm.
you get into a pinch, you get into the eighth or ninth round, and you only have one running back. That's a solid pickup. A guy like him, Raheem Mostert, Chase Edmonds. I
Yeah,
really wouldn't lean on any Denver running back. I mean, maybe if I was, probably Melvin Gordon, but
yeah.
even
Hey,
Travis Etienne could be another one coming out
yeah.
of Jacksonville.
Well, he's going to be there in Jacksonville. I was just about to say James Robinson came out there undrafted last year and had a heck of a year.
Yeah,
So now you have Etienne and James Robinson over there competing for that
yeah,
starting job. You know what I mean? That's a guy right there. Miles Sanders, I think I had last year was a bit of a
yep.
disappointment, but I think it's a guy that can potentially get himself going again. And he's a guy like you said, he'll catch the ball out of the backfield and do some things here and there. So
And having a whole
uh,
offseason, I think, in Philly is going to help them kind of figure out how to utilize him better because
yeah,
he is a good running back.
yeah,
And who was the other? Oh, Mike Davis, guy coming out of Atlanta. He's another one where Atlanta, every once in a while you get these flash in the pan running backs that just come out of nowhere, and you're like,
hmm
man, this guy ran for 1,300 yards and
yeah,
18 touchdowns. Like, when the hell did this happen?
yeah,
But I
yep,
think Atlanta's a mess right now. I don't know if
yeah.
I'm going to risk on a Calvin Ridley pick. I don't know if I'm going to risk taking a Matty Ice pick. Um, pun intended there. I don't know. I don't know. I don't like it.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on what Kareem Hunt will do? Because I know you are high on
Nick Chubb.
Chubb, but he is in that same backfield, and it's a kind of a two-headed monster there. He's still very serviceable as a running back. So I mean, what happens there, and where do you see him fitting in there?
Well, I think you're going to see him coming out of the slot every now and then. I think he's going to
Mhm.
be more of a passing down back, obviously, like he's always been. You're looking at anything longer than 3rd and 5. I think that's when you're going to see Kareem Hunt coming in, which is I don't think it's going to be that often, honestly.
Mhm.
It's you know nobody can tell with Kareem Hunt. I mean, the guy can do so much. He is a really good utility player, but um, Nick Chubb is just so much better than him. So much more you can do with him. Um, and I mean, just downhill, he's all around better. So I think Kareem Hunt's gonna be that guy you pick up when you have a bye week and you need somebody and there's nobody there and you're like, well, I know he's gonna get 8 to 10 touches this game, so I'll just take him and hope I get lucky. So
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know,
To me, the U.S. has broken through. It is 1-0 USA, headed towards the 90th minute.
ooh,
So they can take care of business and move on, eliminate Qatar, and move on to the next round of the Gold Cup. So uh,
never doubted him.
we shall see. We shall see. Hey, I know we don't speak a lot of soccer here, but for those USA soccer fans, they do realize that this is like, I mean, as bad as we have been, we do have some pretty decent players now and a team that should compete decently. Maybe not win anything major like a World Cup, but should definitely compete. But this is a B team that they put into this tournament. And this is our big tournament here for our kind of division of soccer in the CONCACAF. And they have a team of a bunch of kids. I mean, when I say kids, these dudes are young,
Yeah.
and they're still winning. You know what I mean? They're playing well. So they did get a goal from a veteran here today. Yeah, Mr. Zardes there. So we'll see. We'll see if they can hold on now and get themselves past to the next round.
So
I
let's
just
talk.
wanted to
I,
provide the update.
I wanted to pick your brain on this Simone
Mm-hmm.
Biles situation
Yeah,
with the Olympics. I know, if you guys have been living under a rock, um, she was I mean, self proclaimed even star of not only the U.S. gymnastics team, but the entire U.S. country. Like every sport, she was the goat coming into this.
yeah, yeah,
And decided to withdraw from the team for mental health issues, for mental
yeah.
health and stress. I wanted to kind of see what you thought about this because there's a lot of mixed feelings in the atmosphere, and um, you know, I'll go ahead and lay the precedent down now. I think you and I both agree mental health is a very important thing
Mm-hmm.
that everyone should be mindful of, and I get that, and we're not trying to uh, downplay that by any means. But from a athlete understanding, from what you and I know about sports and the situations that you get in, what are your thoughts on her withdrawing because of mental health and stress?
Well, we actually in our last podcast we talked about it a little bit. I think we were talking about brought up a little bit of Naomi Osaka and what happened with
Yeah.
her at the French Open, and how ridiculous that was that they decided they wanted to fine her for not wanting to speak to the media. And my point that day, and is a point that I still hold on to, is we've come to this point um, where we expect so much from the players, right? As far as whether it be fans or folks in the media, that they have to talk, right? And I think we were talking about it when it came because it was the Stephen A. thing with Shohei Ohtani.
Mhm.
You know, I think all that added pressure that these athletes are have on them. Can be unfair at times. I know people want to sit there and say, well, you make all this money, blah, blah, blah. You should just deal with it. Well, I mean, yes, you do know what you're getting into when you are playing a sport or you're doing something where you're in the public eye. You're going to have criticism. You're going to have people wanting to talk to you. Um, you know, it, there's a lot happening there, and yes, you kind of sign yourself up for it. But I guess what I feel is unfair is that we have gotten to a point where it's just expected of these people. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, they still are people. I found myself the other day watching, actually, speaking of Naomi Osaka, they have a like a three-part documentary on Netflix called Naomi, and kind of breaks down some of everything that happened to her during that time, some of how she approaches her day in, day out. She's very, very shy, Timmy. Very, very shy.
Yeah, yeah,
And you can see that she has a hard time speaking, not only, you know, in the media, but she has a hard time speaking in general with people. So, and this is just day in and day out. This is her at a photo shoot where it's not live, where
right.
there's, several people in the room and it's just the camera and they're taking pictures and she could be as calm as she can be, yet you can see almost pain in her expression from having to do this stuff. She just wants to play tennis. You know what I mean? She enjoys playing tennis. Simone Biles enjoys gymnastics. She enjoys being with her teammates. Yes, you are representing the USA, and we all want to root and cheer for her. But at the end of the day, she's a human being. You know what I mean? And she has her struggles day in and day out. And for people to want to jump on her and say whatever they want about her, it's them being selfish, in their own right. Because again, it's a human being who has her own emotions and feelings. Um, it's just unfortunate that it gets to that point.
See now I get what you're saying, and this is where I had a feeling we were going to differ a little bit. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so there's a difference between performing and not wanting to do interviews, and I got that part. I'm the same way. I think if you're gonna build me up into this thing and whatever just because of the way I play and I play and I play, and then you want to break me down during interviews, I'm gonna give you the finger and tell you I'm not doing interviews anymore. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not comfortable
Yeah.
doing it because why? I like if that is what's getting your heart rate up and that's what's giving you stress, then you take that portion out, and I get that. But that
Mm-hmm.
doesn't change the fact that you're still competing.
Yeah.
Now, with Simone Biles, there was a lot of talk, like I said, of building her up, and she did a fair amount of herself of building herself up and to saying
Mm-hmm.
that she was the star and she was the leader and this and that. Now, looking at it from that aspect, okay, this is the Olympics. This isn't some namby-pamby performance where you're going up against one other country, blah blah blah. This is the highest level competition you can do in gymnastics. Now, granted, basketball is a whole other story, but in this specific sport, this is the pinnacle. You've had 4 years to prepare for this, knowing that you are the
Mm-hmm.
best, trying to fulfill what you did the year before. The expectations
Right.
are there. You helped build yourself into this, dynamic person, and then you get to that part and you start to break down. So yes, your mental health was in question, but I don't think she withdrew because of mental health. She withdrew because she failed to live up mentally to that point. You had built yourself up into something that you weren't, and you could not perform. That'd be like being in the middle of the Super Bowl and halftime comes and Tom Brady's like, I listen, guys, I can't do it. Like for my mental health, I'm gonna not play. To me, I don't understand that. And again, this is me coming from a point where you know you're a competitive person and you build up into this thing and this is where you want to be, and then you get there and you fall apart. And I think when you spend so much time preparing for an event like this, you've got to remember that it's not all physical. It's not all flips and turns and land this and land this. Mentally, you've got to be there. You've got to know that stress is coming. And when you don't prepare yourself for that, you fall short. And I think that's what happened. So I don't think it's a mental health thing to where you should be like, oh, well, I feel bad for blah, blah, blah. I look at it as a failure. You weren't prepared mentally to handle this, and you failed, and you let essentially your team down. Potentially, you let your team down. You let your country down when you were not only the star of your sport, you were the star of the country. That's why you were
Yeah.
there, and you were built up into that, and you helped do that, and then you failed. So to that aspect, and I don't have any ill will against Simone Biles. I still think she's the most talented gymnast I've ever seen in my life. But this point here is going to scar her as an
Yeah.
athlete for the rest of
So
history.
you believe that to a certain extent that she just quit on her team?
I think she quit. I think she quit because she couldn't handle it mentally, because she wasn't prepared to do it. I don't
Mm.
think it, and again, when you word it like
Oh,
that, it does
yeah.
go hand
It
in hand
sounds
with mental
bad, yeah,
health.
but I'll ask it. I'll ask this too. And again, like you said before, we're not downplaying mental health by
Right.
any. We're just having a discussion, right? We have to play devil's advocate. We have to throw different points out here. Um, do you think that maybe that she quit to a certain extent, not because of the mental health part, but used that as a way out because physically she failed to do what she was supposed to do?
Well,
You
and
know what
I
I
think
mean?
a lot of
So
it because
to your point of Tom Brady, you're out there and you're 5 of 20 and 2 picks, and halftime rolls around and you go, you know what, guys, like you said, mentally, I can't do this. My mental health is shot. I can't do this. But in reality, you're looking at it going, bro, you just suck right now. You know what I mean? You're trying to
yeah,
pick
and
the
it's
easy way out because you suck right now.
well, and
You know
that
what I
was the
mean?
next point I was going to get to, and I think with mental health, and like I said, again, I'm not downplaying mental health at all. I
Right,
think it's a very important
right,
thing, but I think
right.
at this point in our country and our world and the way that we live in and the way people say things and do things, I think now that's a cop out to say that sometimes. I'm not saying what she did was a cop out. What I'm saying is that I feel like some people can say that
Mm-hmm.
just to say it, and no one can argue with it. Well, okay,
Yeah,
well, it's your mental health, so by all means. When in reality,
yeah,
you're using it as a cop out because you can't do it. Now, granted,
yeah.
I think in the sport that she's in, if you're not there mentally, you can literally kill yourself
You
because of the
can,
things that you're
you
doing.
can,
And to that aspect,
absolutely.
and I'm not downplaying why she drew out. I think she should have withdrawn 100%.
Mm-hmm.
But withdrawing and quitting are two different things. She
Right.
withdrew because she realized that she couldn't do it. To me, that's quitting, because you couldn't build yourself back up to get back into that zone that you need
Mm.
to be in. And that's
Yeah.
the thing, is I think she put too high of an expectation on herself. The performance that she was doing was too difficult, and she was like, I can do it, I can do it, I can do it. And when the time came, she couldn't do it. So you failed to
Mm.
be prepared properly for what you needed to do, mentally and physically. Physically, she was there
Yeah.
clearly, but um, and
Yeah.
like I said,
But do you think that maybe and again, because I think it is courageous for her to come out because, right? I mean, it's easy. I mean, I guess if she really wanted to quit, she could have come out and said, "Listen, um, I'm hurt. I physically I can't do it. You know what I mean? I have a bad ankle. I have this. Whatever the case may be." She could have very easily taken that route, right? So for somebody to come out and say mental illness, with the perception that can have behind it, and how some people can be dumb enough to try to turn that into something else. Um, for her to come out and say that, I think in her own right, that's very courageous in her own right. But do you think that maybe? I mean, I can see what you're saying. She wanted to do so well, and she put so much pressure on herself that ultimately she, kind of was a part of creating some of these issues with the mental illness for herself, if you know what I mean,
right,
because of how much she put on herself. I don't know, man. It's a tough one. It's a tough one. I remember watching Tiger several years ago. He came back one of the times that he came back from his injuries, and he looked good for like a round. And I think it was a Friday, and then somewhere like around hole 16 or something like that, if my memory serves me right. I just remember him down the stretch, like, and that, just saying, I can't go anymore. Physically, I can't do it, and I'm out. I'm injured again. And he withdrew from the tournament. And I remember thinking that time, watching him, they had the helicopter view of him going into the parking lot, getting into the car, or whatever, and the tournament still going on, and me thinking, you really can't face the fact that you're out there and you're just an average player right now, like everybody else. It
right.
happens. I mean, you're older, you know what I mean, injuries or whatever, and you're having such a hard time dealing with the fact that you are just kind of a middle of the pack at that time guy, that you are withdrawing rather than manning up and saying, you know what, I'm not that great right now,
Right.
but I made the commitment to be here. I'm going to see this thing through, right?
Well,
Even if I don't make the cut, even if I put a bunch of balls in the water, whatever the case may be, you decided, oh, I'm going to withdraw. And I thought at the time that he was taking the easy way out
Right.
because he didn't want to man up to him sucking, if you know what I mean. But like you said, in gymnastics, it is something where you can potentially, I mean, you can, like you said, literally kill yourself
Right.
if you're not there. And that's something. I mean, I was watching the video earlier today. The young lady that won on the bars. Um, man, I mean, I was on the edge of my seat the whole time watching
Oh
that
yeah, dude.
routine because you're like half an inch away from missing the bars. Every time they
And
catch it, it's like,
face
oh god,
planting.
they got it. Oh my god, they got it. And it yeah, these folks that do this, God bless them.
Yeah.
It's a tough one, man. It's a
Well,
tough
and,
one.
and see, and I'm like I said, I'm a little bit older than a lot of other people. You and I both are. So what a lot of people don't understand, and these are people probably in the early 20s, even in the early 30s, they don't remember Carrie Strug. And I don't know if you remember Carrie Strug. 1996
I do.
Olympics, okay.
Yep.
Obviously became a national sports hero.
Yeah.
1996 Olympics, guys. She does her vault performance, hurts her ankle, bad.
Yeah. Like you can hear it when she
Yeah,
lands.
and gets to the point where she has to go again to win the gold, and
Yeah.
literally asks her coach, "Do we need this?" And the coach is like, "You have to go. We have to do this if we want a medal." She goes again, literally lands on both feet, gets a 9.1, ends up winning the gold medal for the U.S. Literally has to be carried off on a stretcher.
Yeah.
Okay, so when
Yeah.
I heard the Simone Biles thing, that is what I thought of, and
Yeah.
that's where I go
Yeah.
mentally, and
Yeah.
that's where I make my excuse for how I feel about the situation. I'm not downplaying how talented she is. I'm not downplaying how important she is to the country and what she represents. But in this specific situation, I went to Carrie Strug and said, "This girl had a broken ankle and did it. She stayed in the game mentally, even though her body wasn't there physically. And it wasn't like her body failed her. She literally like broke her ankle. Like you can't control
Yeah.
that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And was still able to stay there mentally. And that again, I think it goes to show how important mental health is. When you are there mentally, your body can do things
Yeah.
just by the
But
way you make it do
are
it.
we saying that she's not mentally tough, or I mean, is that what we're saying? Are we saying that Carrie Strug was more was had more mental toughness than
Well,
Simone
I,
Biles has had here recently? Is
Carrie
that
Strug was like
kind of
14, I think, when she did this. Anyways,
which,
um,
by the way, Timmy, I'll interrupt you real quick.
yeah,
The NBA just did a little something for Terrence Clark, who the Kentucky basketball player who passed
yeah,
away. Um, had his mom, and he was going to be potentially drafted in this class, and
yeah,
had the mom and the family up there. We've seen that before with a couple other guys or in other situations, and always touching to see that.
yeah.
To see the family up there. Obviously, mom was crying tremendously, but kudos to the NBA for doing that, and it's always nice to see that.
But yeah, it's like I said, did did she fail mentally? Is that what you no? Was she not mentally tough
Right.
enough? In this situation, I don't think she was. So I'm not saying she's not
Mm-hmm.
mentally tough. I'm saying she withdrew, aka quit, because she was not mentally prepared for the situation.
Mm-hmm.
And to
Yeah.
that, I will leave it. Like I said, again,
Mm-hmm.
guys, we're not downplaying mental health. This is a very important situation. I'm glad we're talking
Absolutely.
about it. This is just two old guys talking about what we've seen in the past and what we saw now.
Yeah.
Again, and we don't know what her routine was. She might have been doing some routine that, like, if you miss a step, bam,
Yeah.
you break your neck and you're
Yeah.
dead. We don't know,
Yeah.
but we never will because she quit. I
No.
mean, withdrew. But yeah, shout out to Simone Biles again. We're all here backing you up, and we will always sing your praises and everything that you've done for the country.
Yeah.
But I
Like you
felt
said, I do agree.
I felt let
Best that
down.
we've seen. Best that we've seen. But you know what? We got to be careful, right? Are we feeling let down because she's representing us as the U.S. and we have so much invested in like trying to root for her,
Yeah,
but we didn't see it, right? So we're selfishly
yeah. I'm
we bring
upset.
this
I'm
on.
pissed
So,
off. I wanted
but
Simone Biles to
but
drop the dub.
that's right. But by the same token, kudos to her for bringing it up, and having the wherewithal to say, hey, listen, I'm not there, right? Because like you
Right.
said, that's a great point that you make here at the end is we don't know what she was going to do, and maybe maybe she knew going in. Listen, if I'm not at this spot mentally, I can't
I
do
can't
this.
do it.
Because if I try to go out there and I'm not where I need to be mentally, I can snap my neck and it's over.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows? I mean, that's a great point by you. Because that can very well be it. But again, for everybody out there that's bringing it up, that's talking about it, that's being more vocal about it, the Naomi Osakas of the world, Simone Biles, kudos to them for coming out and for mentioning it and for saying it, because it's not easy. It's something that in the past I think many people try to make fun of you for it. And that's again, that's not what we're doing about Simone Biles. We're just talking about what we feel could have potentially happened or how we, and we're not making fun of her, right? And we're not making fun
I'm pretty sure she could
of
kick my
mental
ass in real life,
health.
anyways.
Yeah, yeah. She's demonstrated that she's plenty tough,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And we're not saying, and that's the difference. We're not saying that she's not tough because to do what the things that she does and her teammates do, I mean, you have to be plenty tough. So
And I think we come from a generation of where you got like walk it off. You know what I mean? Like that's
yeah,
and how many times did I ever
yeah,
hear you say that to Nate Dogg? Like get up,
yeah,
walk it off, get up. I'm
yeah,
not picking you up, get up.
yeah,
And so
yeah,
that's the mentality that we've always had. Like it doesn't matter if you're not mentally thinking about it, you're here. This is why you're here. Do
yeah,
it. If you
yeah,
fail,
yeah,
you fail. But if you know
yeah,
what I mean? And I think sometimes you have to humble yourself and realize the generation we live in is not the same that we grew up
yeah,
in, because now these girls are at the age where they could be our kids. So
yeah, yeah. And again, to that point, right? We are in an age right now where we are expecting and asking for people to speak about these things and mental, their feelings and bringing it out there. We don't expect you to keep it inside, right? Internalize it, and then potentially for it to become something else, down the road. So where sometimes maybe I think yes, we do come from a different time, but maybe there are some things in those times that we probably should have been doing different. Looking at them now, we probably realize that what there's certain things that yes, we could be tough on our kids and our people around us, but there's definitely other things that we don't that we shouldn't be pushing them when they shouldn't be pushed.
so we shouldn't let things fester and just keep them internal all the time.
No, definitely not.
See,
Definitely
but
not.
see, the thing is, you got to realize we're both married, so we both know that we can tell you guys that, but we keep a lot of stuff inside because there's no point in
Yeah,
arguing about it.
very selective. Very
Yeah,
selective.
like wow, my husband opens up about so much stuff. You have no idea what is sitting right here in my stomach.
Yeah. Yeah.
uh, but yeah,
Oh man.
so I think we this was a good run tonight. Again, I think we're two
Yeah.
for two with the last two runs we've done where we have covered some controversial stuff in a graceful way. I like that we preface everything just so you know, don't get offended by this. This is what we're getting ready to talk about.
Yeah. Yeah. But we
So
are we are sincere when we say that we are not trying to make fun of anybody, and we are trying to have a respectful conversation about it, right? We can joke
definitely,
around, but I think you and I both understand what something is definitely a serious topic, and while we are wanting to have a conversation, and we do disagree on some things, and we have different views on things, I think we want to be respectful of the people, right? So we'll speak to what's happening and we'll break it down and we'll provide our opinions, but also respecting the fact that people are they are human beings, and everybody has their own right to feel the way they do.
but you got anything else? I mean, I covered. I had notes
That's
on
it,
notes,
bud.
man. I had 2 weeks worth of notes on my desk I had to get rid of.
Yeah. Yeah, well, listen. I mean, today it was a little disjointed here and there, but we are tracking, the NBA.
Yep.
The MLB trade deadline is tomorrow, and there's movement in that. So there's kind of just been a lot of things kind of happening. Um, I had a work thing yesterday where we couldn't get on yesterday, so it kind of forced us into today because we really did want to get on this week with everybody. But in doing that, obviously now we're here with the draft. So
Yep.
but still, all in all, I think a good night, man.
But that's going to do it for us, guys. Make sure this time next week, you and I should be watching the Hall of Fame game. Dallas Cowboys and the Pittsburgh Steelers. NFL's kicking off
Yes, sir.
preseason. Other than that,
Woo!
have a great week, guys. We're gonna be keeping our eyes and ears open on all this stuff. Keep you guys posted on Twitter and Instagram as always. Make sure you guys follow us at Talk Sideline on Twitter. If you're listening to us on YouTube, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Click the bell for notifications when we go live. If you ever have a question on when we're gonna go live, hit us up on the Twitter. Hit us up on the Instagram. Hey, when are you guys going live? And we'll let you know. Because it's
That's
pretty
right.
much Wednesday
That's
all the
right.
time, but sometimes we got to move stuff around because we got families and work and life and COVID and all this other stuff. But in the meantime, you guys make good decisions,